Good afternoon, everybody. I hope all of you are doing great. This is, I think, one of those sessions immediately after lunch, and the eyelids get droopy. So, I'll at least we'll try to keep this a little interesting and, inclusive and intuitive, so that we're able to keep the interest alive, and we have a good discussion. So, as it was just the panel was introduced, the topic is a very interesting topic, which is current also, which everybody is talking about AI now. All kind of, for everything we are talking about AI, whether it's our children, whether it is, you can see AI all over us at the present times. But what I would like to bring out, that AI has been around the security systems for quite some time. So we would like to take our discussion forward by, firstly, how is the AI, artificial intelligence, how has it transformed the security landscape as a whole? For that, I have a very eminent panel with me. I would like to introduce all of them. But before that, before we start the actual panel discussion, I would like to, just delve upon and set the context as to how AI has been influencing the security systems and the complete security landscape. How is it happening right now? How has it happened till now? And what are likely to be the ramifications going forward? Firstly, it provides us with enhanced threat detection. You're aware, we are able to get, with the surveillance cameras and the access control systems, we are able to get real-time data now. It is near real-time data. We will be discussing about that in the panel, how it's been helping the various systems and in various facets of our life. Second is faster response times, AI, ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So we can feed in algorithms. The algorithms will get better with time as the machine learns going forward with a larger database. So we can have faster response times, and practically without human intervention. The human inefficiencies and stuff like that can be removed. The communication, time taken for communication, the OODA loop can be made smaller, and that's how AI helps us. Third is predictive analysis. We can predict crowds, big events we have seen like Kumbh Mela and other things. People typically, as it happens in India, that at a particular time people travel, Chhat Puja they travel, they go by train, everybody goes to the railway station. We have seen stampedes, we have seen unfortunate incidents happening. So these things can be predicted better with AI models. And of course, facial recognition, one very common example which all of us have experienced firsthand is Digi Yatra. Now you go to Delhi airport, one doesn't even need to, show your boarding pass. If you have already logged into Digi Yatra and you put in your credentials there, it's just a face read. So just imagine if there is somebody who's a blacklisted person or person of interest, that face read data goes somewhere. So it will be part of some security system. So definitely that can be used, again, without human intervention, without human corruption or any inefficiencies. It can be in almost near foolproof method of detecting any threats. Now, like anything else, any system, like it is a very powerful system. It's got a lot of capabilities, but then it's got its own risks. And that exactly is our topic of discussion in this panel. So without much ado, let me go on to introduce the panel. I have Mr. Jeetendra Singh, who is the CSO of Fortis Healthcare. Then I have Colonel Ravi Madhok, who is the head of asset protection and security at Flipkart. Then I have Ms. Geetika Wahi, who is associate director with Netrika. And then I have Captain Punyasloka Panda, who is VP Protective Services with an ITES consulting group. Now, I will just request them to introduce themselves in one line, briefly. But before that, I think I'm honored to be chairing this session with such an eminent panel. They're all experts with huge amount of experience. And I can see that we have an e-commerce, a person from e-commerce, one from consulting, and in fact two from consulting, one from e-commerce, and one from the healthcare, industry. So I think it's a very rich panel. And about me, finally, my name is Colonel Arun Hariharan. I head the security nodal and EHS for Bharti Airtel, and I've been there with the company for the last 8 years. So over to the panel. So I'll request Punyasloka, and we can go in the clockwise direction to.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Jayant. I am Colonel Ravi Madhok. I come from an infantry background, Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry, for those of you who would understand that. After 22 years in the army, I transitioned in 2018, worked with Reliance Retail for 5 years, where I was looking after the combined supply chain security of retail and Geo. And towards the last 2 years was the CSO for Urban Ladder and Reliance Digital Retail Limited. For the last 2 years plus, now I've been looking after asset protection and security at the Flipkart group based out of Bangalore. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I think I can probably say that most of the people would be knowing me. I've been in this industry since almost 20 years now. I've seen it growing. I worked with Securitas for 12 years, then wanted to enhance my skill sets, and then I was picked by Netrika, and I'm there with them since 4 years. I head the entire Pan-India. I look into building the strategic alliances and the new markets. That's my forte. And yes, security is something. When I joined security industry, I never used to see even a single woman in the group. And initially I used to be, only myself seeing there and all men there. But I must say that I've got such a tremendous scope, support from all of you that has made me here. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeetendra Kumar Singh, and I head security at one of the Fortis' facility. Prior to Fortis, I was with the hospitality, and prior to that, I was with the aviation industry. Around 27 years of working with you guys. Primarily a physical security chap who's trying to get into the current scenario, which we define as convergence of cyber and physical security. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Jeetendra. So, starting on a positive note, we just spoke about, I just gave a small intro about AI and the security aspects. So, starting on a positive note, AI has already percolated into the safety industry and has been, contributing in bits and pieces. We all know, we have all seen it, and there's a lot of scope going forward. So my first question will be to Colonel Madhok. In what way has AI demonstrated clear advantages over traditional security methods in real world deployment? Over to you, Colonel Madhok.
Thank you. The question and the subject is a little humbling for me, and let me try and put a little context to why it is humbling to me. I'm a non-techie ex-NDA infantry officer. It doesn't get worse than that. About 30 years back, when computer science began as a subject in NDA, we managed to pass computer science as a subject by switching on the computer, by getting the green light on in the CPU. So that's where I come from, and when I find myself here talking about AI and stuff, I think I have given myself 2 pats on my back. The point I'm trying to make here is that AI is not so complex as we suppose it to be. It's here to help us. It's not a challenge. And if we use it well, then I guess it'll take us much further to a much better place. If you try to look at AI as probably the way we looked at nuclear energy about 50 years back, it has its pluses, it has its minuses. Depends upon how you use it, right? Now coming to the question proper. Traditional risk management techniques versus AI, of course, there is a very, very huge difference and a paradigm shift. The earlier techniques that we are used to working with as a security professional are very heuristic, very rule of the thumb kind of fraud detection mechanisms that many companies use. For example, if a user uses his credit card 20 times in a span of 5 minutes, then block those transactions. Or if a user who has never used high value transactions suddenly makes a transaction of 20 lakhs at a certain time during the night at a geolocation where he's not supposed to be known to be located, etc., then those transactions are blocked, and that is how traditionally fraud control regimes have tried to prevent losses to businesses. But what AI gives you, conceptually, is the ability of a machine to learn on its own. So there are two different domains there that we probably need to understand a little. One is supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. Supervised machine learning is like giving a person a pack of cards. Each card perhaps contains a photograph of only people, and you ask that machine to figure out similarities between all those cards. That algorithm will look at where they were born, where they live, where they went to school, what do they shop, and things like that. Compare it with an existing data set which tells that this is correct and this is wrong, and then it will form linkages and correlations. But the magic happens in unsupervised machine learning, where if we were to pick up the previous analogy, you give a person 1 million cards of not just people, but people, places, objects, animals, and anything and everything, and tell them to figure out the commonalities between that heterogeneous data set. There are different kinds of algorithms which are used today. I won't go into the technicalities of that. You have random forests, you have isolated forests, you have regression, linear regression, and all of that. But the most valuable stuff happening today is in the realm of recurring neural networks, which is replicating what a human brain does. A human brain puts a lot of context into a decision when you take a decision. A simple decision like buying a bicycle, a computer program will think of it very, very differently, but a human brain will put a lot of emotional, societal, physical, anecdotal, etc. context to it, and then take a decision. That is what AI is able to do today. Use cases today, I think we will talk about that during the course of this panel. But the most common thing that is being used very extensively already is video monitoring system. You have large environments with very dense human population, like airports, like stadiums, like shopping malls, etc., where convenience is at a direct conflict with security. There, AI can really help you pick out anomalies, identify trends, identify bad actors, identify crowd surges, etc., before it becomes critical. So you can deploy resources even before the traffic starts building up, say 10 kilometers away from a stadium. You can already have resources beefed up in the stadium, and you know that that traffic is coming to you, rather than trying to manage that crowd when it has already gone out of control. You also have anomaly detection in financial realm, where frauds, etc., can be easily identified. And it is not just against a set of historical data that this kind of a transaction is a fraud, and therefore it will pick up a transaction which doesn't conform to that. It will pick up a new fraud that's emerging as we speak. That kind of ability it has by putting together a lot of contextual information. Also, in my industry, we struggle with counterfeits and organized retail crime, and that's where AI is coming to our rescue almost every day. We are using natural language models to identify images of labels which are counterfeit, compare it to genuine labels, and at scale we are able to identify counterfeit items. More magic happens when you link it to, say, blockchain or IoT of things. And then you can actually trace back the journey of an entire counterfeit shipment as to where it originated from or where it did not originate from. Also, in e-commerce particularly, the reverse supply chain is a very, very big problem statement. Most e-commerce players struggle to contain frauds over there, and that's where automated video verification of content that is sent to you in the reverse supply chain Also patching all the system footprints of a shipment delivery, right from the time it is picked up to packed to dispatch to delivered to the customer. Return is picked up and it comes back all the way to the return center. AI is able to patch all that information together, look at it autonomously and flag where an errant behavior has happened. And this is happening at scale because we are talking about 3 to 4 crore shipments every day. So that's where the value really gets unlocked. So if you ask me in 3 simple words, what's the difference between traditional security approach and the AI-enabled security approach? It is scale, it is complexity, and it is the convenience with which we are able to handle larger problems today.
Thank you, Ravi. I think that was a very comprehensive and a very well structured, I think, response to the question. I think he has very clearly brought out how, the AI ML, the way he also brought out supervised, unsupervised AI ML, and also how the logics are built around this, and how this technology will keep improving as we go forward. Now, I'll come to our second panelist now. That's Geetika. My question to her is more of the human angle. We just spoke about, the e-commerce aspects and how they're able to detect fraud and all that. But there is also a human angle to it. And it's very important that with the law on privacy, various laws on privacy, India or abroad, large amount of data being, transitioned from one place to another over the ether, and surveillance and civil liberties. We're talking of civil liberties today. The societies are all, they're becoming to wake up on civil liberties. You can see it across the world, it's happening. So what are the societal risks of delegating critical security tasks to AI? If you look at it from the point of view of civil liberties and the rampant surveillance, it doesn't get misused. Over to you, Geetika.
Very relevant question. But okay, before I answer your question, I'll give you a very real, situation that happened a week back. One of my friend, she came to me and she said that she lost some money. There was something that has gone out of her bank. And I said, how can that happen? Have you given your access to somebody or whatever? So we did a lot of, detailed discussion, tried to figure it out what happened. So you would be really surprised to know what happened. She joined a new gym, and in that particular gym, it was mandatory for her to give her Aadhaar card and everything. And to enter the gym, you have to punch your thumb. That goes everything, You have given your access to them. Do you really know how are they protecting the data that they're taking from you? Who has used that data? So when I say that this is a very, relevant question, because as the AI is getting embedded in our security ecosystem, the line between protection and intrusion is starting to blur. So when we say this, the first risk that I feel is the erosion of privacy. These AI surveillance systems basically track and analyze people at a level which was never happened before. So, and specifically without taking your consent, most of the time. Have you given your consent to distribute your data anywhere? Anybody can use it? No, right? So if this is not managed properly, people can start thinking that they are being watched rather than protected, right? And this basically turns the preventive, security into a continuous surveillance. The second, which I feel, is the algorithmic bias, because AI actually learns from the historic data, right? So this data, and they drive whatever they are going to do is basically on the basis of whatever data they have. Now, this reflects a lot of human bias. So at times, the decision taken by the AI could be unfair and could be, unaccountable for. And the third thing is the accountability. That's the most important thing. What if AI wrongly, detects somebody as a threat, okay, what will happen? Which means it is going to be the consequence is going to be very, very, serious, reputationally, as well as legally. Who is going to take the accountability of it? The machine, the developer, or the organization which is basically using it? So in my opinion, these are the three major threats. There are many others, but these are the major three threats which basically are very prevalent, and everybody has to use. You cannot shy away from doing it. You will have to use it. It's the need of the hour, but you have to manage it properly. So the most important thing is the security. Without a trust is insecurity. So we have to manage it. That's my take on it.
Thank you, Geetika. I think you spoke well on this subject, which is, it's one of the risks we are looking at going forward. So transparency is very important as far as the AI is concerned. And I think the right usage, the right controls over it, the right usage so that it doesn't get misused, and also minimizing the errors which are likely to be there. Like she said, there can be a case of somebody not being a person of interest and being flagged as a person of interest and being blacklisted somewhere, inconvenienced somewhere. It can lead to a lot of legal and regulatory litigations and things like that. So these are certain things we have to watch out for. Now coming to my next esteemed panelist, Jeetendra, the question is, now let's come down to a little more to operational things which concern you and me on a day-to-day basis. You come from a healthcare industry. So I would like to ask you, how is AI becoming part of the day-to-day functioning of modern security teams which are functioning on the ground? And what are the risks? I will just take Geetika's response forward. And what are the risks and responsibilities an organization should look at while implementing it on ground?
Well, I can see the counter ticking 13 minutes or so. So I'll not unnecessarily, repeat what my co-panelists have already explained. We are at a juncture where there's a very thin line between the cyber and physical security teams. Naturally, when AI and AI-based efficient tools and models and equipments are being brought into the operations, it increases our efficiency by largely automating the security operation centers. I jotted down 4 or 5 points, out of which 2 or 3 are already covered by Colonel Madhok and Geetika. I would like to add that advanced threat detection and behavioral analytics, which they have covered, vulnerability management, alert triaging. You'll be surprised, in healthcare we do patient triaging, and here with the help of AI we are doing the alert triaging. So that is done. Phishing and fraud prevention, automated incident response, predictive security and threat intelligence, and at the end, identity and access management. Now, having said that, the Security Operations Center gives a lot of inputs to the physical security team, and on ground, our people, just like any efficient QRT, plug those risk points by providing timely response. Like I heard Colonel Madhok talking about a lot of crowd going into the stadium or any airport. Just imagine a situation wherein a crowd of around 50 or 100 odd people enters the hospital lobby and tries to force its way to the ICU because one of their patients is sick. So the threat detection and input to the physical security team and response by physical security team is essential, ensuring that we provide seamless healthcare services to the patient. So that is there. That is the first part of the answer. Second part, the risk and responsibility. Risk part is covered largely. Responsibility, I would like to reiterate. I believe AI is as good as the data which is being fed, supervised or unsupervised, whatever. So ensuring that the data which is being fed or the data pipeline is safe is it's utmost important. First thing. Second thing, the usage of AI, its ethical governance is far more essential. Ensuring, some time back, there was a data leak in the AIMS. Imagine if a patient's data is leaked and the patient is a high value dignitary, what is going to happen? If we go back to history, we now know that Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he had a tumor, a cancer in his lungs. Just imagine, he was diagnosed, I think, 8 or 9 months before the partition. Had this data been leaked by his physician, the history of this subcontinent would have been different. But again, the medical ethic prevented, that physician to, inform rest of the world that, he is having a lung cancer or a tumor in his lung. So ensuring that ethical governance is important, and I think that's where the organizations are actually liable to create SOPs and protocols to ensure that the AI is used ethically. Yes, that the DPDP Act also covered a lot of aspect on this, and I believe the conformity to that aspect is essential. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeetendra. I think certain personal insights from the healthcare industry was also very good examples you gave for, so people can understand it better. Now I come to Captain Punya. Again, we are going to talk about the social impact. I'm going to request him to talk about the social impacts. Let's talk about the positive social impacts. What are the positive social impacts which might result from AI-enhanced security practices, such as increased safety or reduced human error? So I would like you to take on this question.
Thank you, sir. Is that AI should, we should be expanding, or it has already been expanded, and it is not only restricted to physical security. Predominantly, it is managing the risk, which includes a business continuity, which includes a crisis management, and it is not only restricted to corporates. The best part is every state government is using AI in a bigger and a more better way compared to any of the corporates here today. First thing and foremost is safer communities. AI has helped to keep the communities and the public spaces safe, and it has been proven, it has been tested, and to highlight few examples, if we all recollect, or if we know, if somebody doesn't know, new AI-enabled video surveillance systems were deployed in one of the temples in Lucknow, which is being visited by people at a very high rate. The crowd management is very difficult. And one of the main analytics which they fed into it is to check the behavioral changes in people while they are entering the temple, first thing. Second thing, how frequently one person is coming. Third, is that person first time or the second time, or what number of times? Which gave them the analysis and predict if that person with a criminal record, if he is entering the temple, is he trying to create something. So that is being a proactive measure to keep the community safe. That is one part. The second is AI is helping communities which are more vulnerable for any form of safety security. And when I say communities or group, it is not only restricted to human beings, it is also animals. And a very best example is from the Kerala Forest Department. They have created a concept called Aranya. I'm forgetting their acronym exact details. So basically, they were trying to prevent the tribals who are on the periphery of the forest from wild animals. But while dealing with it, they started looking at the pattern at which the wild animals is moving into the habitation or civilization, thereby reducing the conflict between human and animals. And this is being now replicated into all major national parks in the country. So we were trying to prevent ourselves from the animals. Suddenly we found that we can also save the animals from us. These were the two major things. Third was on the crisis management part. We all know how AI is being used today by all the state governments, the corporates, the IMDs of predicting how crisis can be prevented, how people can be evacuated, what will be the amount or what will be the intensity of a landfall of a cyclone, at which position it will fall, how many people are there. So it gives the government, the corporates, the NGOs a bigger hand in evacuating people or saving life in a bigger and a more organized manner. There are thousands of plus points, there are thousands of positive points which AI can give. As everybody of us we discuss is that, like nuclear energy, just sir bought out few times earlier. Everything has got two sides of a coin, it's a head and a tail. We need to choose what we want to do with the present technology. I just highlighted three major things, examples, just to give how our government is working. And it is not restricted to major cities. Small little suburbs like Kalyan, Dombivlis, and places where we don't think an AI video surveillance system can work, they are coming with 96% of success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Punya. I think the clock is ticking. We have just time for one more question. So this question, I'll request all our esteemed panelists to just say a few comments on them very briefly, because this is a very important aspect. You know, we spoke about AI, the power of AI, the risks, the responsibilities. So how important is it to establish clear governance mechanisms on to ensure responsible use of AI in the security settings? So Punya, let's start from you. Just few words in interest of time.
First of all, sir, it is awareness and communication which is very, very important. If, say, 30 years back when the ATM was being introduced into the Indian financial system, people were not aware how to use an ATM. The same thing today goes with the digital payment, the same thing goes with the advanced system of AI, which is getting into our lives slowly. Every day we are getting one bits and pieces. So that's awareness and communication of citizens is very, very important to keep AI in check.
I think more than regulation, because that will come inevitably in good time, more than regulation, the info security industry as such needs to figure out what kind of safeguards we need to develop and deploy. You know, there is already something in vogue called adversarial AI, which is essentially using one AI against another, or using your AI against you itself. And it's not going to be long before the bad actors try using UI for exactly the same use cases for which we are trying to protect ourselves with AI. You know, data poisoning is already a concept where bad actors can poison your data so that your AI will give you misleading results and you would believe them to be true, you know. So all of that is already happening, and I don't think the government can do much about it. It's the industry which will have to pitch in first and develop safeguards and guardrails around how we want to safeguard our own data sets, our own labeled data sets, data centers, our networks, etc. Because at the heart of any AI today or even 10 years from now is going to be a labeled data set. You need to protect it like the lifeblood of any AI. If that gets corrupted, then the whole thing becomes open to manipulation.
Thank you.
I'll take this. In fact, what I feel is that to do this, what you just said, it's very, very important to have, you know, upskilling of the people who are going to use the AI. And that's very important. You know, we have guards in command centers, right? Are we actually focusing on the upskilling of these people? Because they are the people who are going to, you know, basically interpret the AI insights, the abnormalities or the questions. They should be able to question the anomalies as well. Because the core lies behind the reasoning and the judgment that they're going to take. So human intervention is always important. That's where we all have to make sure that our people are, you know, upskilled.
All said and done, thousands of years back, Chanakya once said that your best friend has got the potential to become your toughest and worst enemy. The same goes for AI. Rest my co-panelists have covered.
Thanks a lot. I think the panel summed it up very well. So just, I'd like to quote from Spider-Man. Spider-Man once said, with great power comes great responsibility. So I think we can sum this whole discussion as per that. What are the powers of AI? I think it has been brought out quite adequately in this thing. Firstly, there is no human intervention. It is, by design, it is more efficient. Secondly, the accuracy of data is, it's very good. If it is a well-trained AI machine, the accuracy of data will be near, we've seen it in our daily lives. Also, it is scalable. And this technology is going to get cheaper and cheaper as we go forward. It's going to, you can already see that it's accessible. It's got access to everybody. But it needs control, it needs safeguards. And like Geetika brought out very valid point, in the security industry, we're talking of the lowest, we should start from the lowest denominator, that is the security guard or the person sitting in the command center. So I think for them to harness the power of AI and also to ensure that, that the entire system doesn't get misused or it doesn't get compromised, because again, you are handling people's data. So it's much easier to for the data to get compromised, large volume of data to get compromised in the system, than a register getting stolen or some, standalone, some Excel sheet on a computer getting, misplaced here and there. So the risks are there, but with adequate safeguards, I think the security industry will only stand to gain. And if this is used in a responsible manner and in a way that we empower the lowest person in the scale and don't take things for granted, that everybody knows about it and everybody will be able to do it. So thank you. I think time is up, but I think we are open for few questions if the organizers permit. Yeah.